Hey everybody, welcome back to, this is episode 6.5 of our FileMaker series, 6.5. The reason why we did the 0.5 was because in my last video, which was about a half an hour ago, about 45 minutes ago or so, I was stumped a little bit. I was like, how am I going to make this work? Well, I sat down and I started thinking about it, and I thought pretty hard about how to create this, make this happen. And so I wanted to because next week is going to be pretty busy for me, and I'm probably not going to be able to release a lot of videos next week, but I wanted to finish this up for you guys so that, and this is a super important part of our FileMaker series. So what it is we've created a sandwich, let's say. You've got a customer, let's just go to our menu one, and we'll just go to Mama, or let's go to, I think it's actually this Mama. So we're here at this Mama, or menu, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. And we went to, so you go to lunch foods, and if you go down on our menu, you can see that you can create an item. And for the lack of all, we just decided we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this together, right? And so what I needed to do, my problem was, is if I tried to erase one of these lines, I could do it. I could do it, no problem. It would let me do it. The problem that I was having was that when I tried to do it in the kitchen, so when I went to the tablet, the kitchen tablet, I was unable to get that record. I found out how to do it. I figured it out. Didn't take me very long. It's a very rare thing that you would ever use. And let me tell you what we had to do. We had to change two scripts. Let me show you the very first script that we had to change. So if we go into and we manage our scripts, do you guys remember our sans specs, right? So in our sans specs, that's the one that actually puts the items on our kitchen tablet, and it will also put it on the thing that we can see as well. So this little window over there, the little blue window that you guys see on our portal. So what we had to do was, down here on line 26, we had to set a variable. So after we went to our portal row and we put all that information on our portal row in the kitchen, we set a variable, and the variable, we called it row. And what we did was we told it to get the active portal row number, to get that active row. That way we can, what we're trying to do is we're trying to associate the records with each other. So now that we've gotten the active portal row number, we go back to our original layout. So that's the only thing that we added was line 26. Set the variable row, and then the value is get active portal row number. And you guys can see it here. If you just go here, it says get active, and it's right down here. If you just go to your get, you'll see it. It'll say active portal row number. So it's right there. Pretty simple. And we'll say okay. Now that's the first step. We'll just go ahead and we'll save it, even though we don't need to. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to go in and you need to manage your database. Now in our Sandwich 1 portal, we needed to add another field. And I just made it a text field, but I called it row. Just row. And what I did with it is if you click on this and you move it out, you'll actually see it appear in the very top. You guys see it appear right here? So I've hidden it inside of my portal row, but it is there. It is there. So we've done that. Now on our scripts, so this script, the sandwich specifications, when we get down to the bottom of that, we need to set a field. So line 32, we need to set a field, and that is the sandwich portal row, sandwich underscore portal row 1, double semicolon, row to row. So what we did was we in the upper part of this script, we got the active portal row number, which we don't know what it is, but we got it. And we brought it back to our, we brought it back here with us to this page. And now we want to put it on the row. We want to put it in a field, so we want to hold on to it. And so now that we have a hold of it, and we know what it is, well, we don't know what it is because it's there. We don't see it. But now that we know what it is, now we actually have an ability to do something with it. Now the problem is if you've got any of these on there, you are not going to be able to make it happen because you need to just delete these portal rows. So if you come into this and you delete the portal row, or you try to delete the portal row, it'll say, nope, can't do it. But if you go into edit and you click on this and you do the portal row setup, you can actually select the allow deletion of records for now. So now if we go back and we have to click in a space where there is nothing, right? So just click in a space where there is nothing, press the delete button, and delete all of these records. And I know you guys will hear the thing go on, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. So let's just delete all of our records. Start from 0. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start from 0. We can now clear this out. And when we do our script, I'm going to set it to clear that. I'm going to set it to clear it because we don't need it anymore. And as a matter of fact, we could probably just delete this if you really wanted to. It doesn't need to be here. Just remember, if it's not on the field, if it's not out here, it's not going to happen. So it's going to say, oh, it didn't do it. So when we do manage our scripts and we go into our cancel the item one, when we try to set the field right here, the boxy box, it's not going to do it. So we might as well just erase it. Boxy box is done. And what we did do is we set the changes that we made on the cancel item is now it says set variable $row, and then we set that as the sandwich portal row. So remember where we grabbed the active row number and then we brought it back? Well, now we're grabbing it and we're going to take it back with us. That's how we're going to do it. So we're going to set the variable. We're going to freeze the window, go to the layout, which is the sans, the kitchen tablet. We're going to set our fields, and then we're going to do our if statement so that if our invoice numbers or if our tracking numbers don't line up, then it will enter find mode. It'll find the right one, and it'll put it there for us. And then we're going to set a field, and this field is the product field, which we're not going to do. We're just going to get rid of that completely. So let's just get rid of it. We're going to go to portal row and select no dialog. And how we did that is we did it by calculation. So we select the entire contents. We have that checked. Perform without dialog. We have that checked. And if you do the by calculation, our calculation is $row. Okay. Then we'll delete that portal record. We'll show all the records and come back to the regular layout, and everything is good. So now what we're going to do is let's go to our kitchen sans copy. Gosh, you know what I need to do? I need to make that like kitchen order or something. But if we exit this layout, we now need to, if you haven't already, you need to allow deletion of portal rows. So we can delete these. Which is one of the things that I did do. So we can delete them, because we want them all, we want nothing to be here for us. Okay, so we've deleted them, but the record still exists. Let's get rid of, we'll edit our layout. Let's get rid of this. We don't need our boxy bot anymore. And we will go back to our sandwich board, where now we have nothing. You guys have seen it. We've done nothing. So we're going to add some white bread, And we're going to add some chicken because that's the only one that we currently have working. And we'll add some cheese because that's one that we have working. And it's funny, I wrote selection. If you guys didn't notice that, I actually wrote the wrong thing. So if I'm going to go in, I'm going to fix that really quick. I'm so sorry, but that will just drive me to drink. Sans spec. It'll be show custom dialog. Here it is. And instead of selection, it will be selection. We'll delete it. Delete that extra E in there just because I'm all right with that. Your selection has been added. Okay. Now let's exit the layout. Now what we have is we have white bread, chicken breast, and American cheese. $2.75 for the sandwich. We're going to bring up our tools, our script debugger, and we're going to throw it on the field over here so you guys can see it. And we're going to select, let's select the chicken breast, which happens to be the second one, the chicken breast. So we're going to select that one, and we'll F6 those, and we'll go in. It'll delete that portal row instantaneously after it grabs the variable. And we're now going to go to our layout. And the layout is going to be the that kitchen one, right? And what we're going to do here is we're going to, if the numbers don't match, and we've talked about it in the last video, so if the numbers don't match, then that's when we're going to perform a find. But we don't need to. The numbers do match on this. It's the only record we're currently working on. Now we're going to go to portal row. Let's see if it picks the chicken breast. It instantaneously picks the chicken breast. And then it will delete that portal row. And then it will go back to show all records. So in case there was any problem with the records, it'll show all of them. It'll go back to our original layout. And here we are. Now, this button is always going to appear no matter what. It's always going to be there. So what you may want to do is, in this particular sense, on this particular script, and I'll show you guys how to do that really quick, but this, you can say if is empty. So if there is nothing here in this side, so if it is empty, do nothing. And I definitely would suggest doing that, because you don't want, if someone pushes this button, it's going to be empty. It's going to go through the script and blah, blah, blah. So let's edit the layout. Let's manage our scripts really quick. And we're just going to say on this cancel item, I'm going to go to the very top. I'm going to add the if statement. And then I'm going to set my, we've already set the variable. So I'm just going to say if is empty. And the field that I want is the portal row, right? So we're going to do this portal row. If it is empty, then we're just going to halt the script. And so we can take our set button or our set variable and put it underneath of it. And what that does for you is it basically stops someone from messing with the button. Now, you can create a button where the color would be, there would be no color if a certain situation existed, like if there's nothing there in the rest of the field. And that's kind of a long-winded process, and if you guys want to learn how to do that, I can show you how to do that. But it really doesn't hurt to have that extra button here. But what it does is it basically, it will just halt the script, so it's halted. But we do want to make sure that these items are, that you can't, so if we edit the layout, you can select this item, press and hold the shift button, this item, and this item. And if we go into our field inspector, we can say not available in browse mode. That way I can't mess with them. You can't mess with them. The customer can't mess with them. And that's kind of a big deal. Also, you don't want any other field, like any of these fields, available in browse mode. Nor do you want this field available in browse mode. Because that way people can't change it. So they can't click on these, they can't do anything with them. And if we exit the layout, you can see they can go to it, but that's all they can do. They can't. And if they click on this, and if you want to, you can add a script. It's a customer, so to me it's not a big deal. You can just halt the script and it'll stop them from pushing the button. But what you can do, like I said, is when you are going to your button setup, so you can go to your button setup. You can tell it to, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the inspector. Appearance. So it's a button. So you can have paste a style to one or more objects. So if you want, it's in its the normal setting, the theme is electric, the style is default, and when it is pressed or in focus, or you can change what that button actually looks like. You can change it to yellow if somebody presses it. Whatever you want to do. That's kind of a part of the deal, but you can also change all kinds of other things too, like if this field is empty, do this or do that, or make it, but you can't like completely delete it. So, and there's no reason to actually even consider deleting it. It's not really hurting anything. And as you can tell, we've made it so that if you do push it, it won't do anything. Now, one other thing that you might want to do real quick, this is going to be probably one of my shortest videos. I'm only going to be about 20 minutes. So we've got about 5 or 6 minutes left, is you can add a thing that says, "Are you sure?" If you want to. You can, so you can create a popover basically. And what that popover would do is it would basically just say, "Are you sure you want to delete this? Yes or no? Are you sure you want to delete it? Yes or no?" And that's very much a possibility that you can do as well. So if you want to do that, all you would need to do is create it as a popover. And that's pretty simple to do. If you edit the layout, and we come to this, and the big thing that you want to do is you want to get down the size. So it's a 46 by 22. So here what you would do is you'd come over here, you'd create a popover, and the popover we'll create is a 46 by 22. 46 by 22. And now it's a very small button. And we're just going to tell it to do absolutely nothing right at this very second. But what we can do is I'm going to go in and put it right smack next to this one for now. And then I'm going to remove this one, the one that's here. I'm going to remove it. Put it out here in the field, and then move this one over. And I want to make sure that it's kind of more centered in this field. So there we go. So now what you would do is you double click on this button, and you're going to grab this little button and you're going to put it in here. But what we want to do with this is we want to go on the other side or the bottom of it so that we can change where it is. And so what you can do is you can make this super complicated. If you want to, and somebody pushes that button, you can have that field, the item name in there, so that people know what they're selecting or what they're not selecting. What I normally do is I like to keep it as simple as possible. I like to do, while we're doing the button, make a nice big button. That's one that's red, one that's green, and it's pretty simple to do. You can actually grab this button, you click off of it, grab the button, hold the control, and move it down. And then what you would do is double click on it, and you want it to, it says cancel item. You're going to want it to do nothing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, I'm going to change the name, and I'm going to say cancel. And then I want to change the color of it. So in my appearance, I'm going to, I'll do it green. And I think what I'll do is I'll say this one is no. instead of cancel. This one is no or do not cancel. Do not remove or whatever. And then the only thing that you want this to do is a single step, and that single step is close the popover. And your other one, you already know what it's going to do, and you can do whatever, whatever that is. Remove this item. So if you double click on it, you can say remove item. And so you want to keep these kind of separate from each other, but you can make them a little bit bigger, a little wider, whatever trips your trigger and makes you. If you want to add some script to it, you can do that as well. Personally, I don't really care that much about it. So, but what I will do is I do need to add a script to this, and you can either just double click it and then just do a Shift X. And then we don't want it to be a gradient, we want it to be a solid color, and the solid color will be red. And if you close it, and we exit the layout, now when you push a button, you'll get this. Remove item or do not remove item. And you can change the color of its opposite, so when you hover over it, but that only happens on the computer. It's very hard to put your finger on your tablet and hover over it. So it doesn't really matter what color that it changes to, but remove the item or do not remove the item. Simple, easy, painless. So you can say, don't remove the item, and it'll just close the popover. This one, do not remove the item, it'll just close the popover. It's not that big of a deal. So we can very easily, as you can see, make it very user-friendly. So if we want to, we can say, I wanted chicken, and I really didn't really want the American cheese. So I'm going to get rid of the American cheese and remove the item. And as you can see, it has removed the item, and it moved everything up, so everything is perfect. But now let's go and see what happens if we go to our order, the kitchen order, right? So kitchen sans copy. There we are, white bread, American cheese. What? It didn't remove it? White bread and chicken breasts. I don't know why did it not... remove this item. I don't know what happened. Okay, so it did that. Halt script. And then if we add, let's close this down. Let's add another chicken. Your item has been added. And then let's do the tools and the script debugger, because I don't know why it didn't remove the chicken. Remove this item. It removed the chicken. Why did it not remove the cheese? That's a good question. So F6, halt the script. Go back into the meats. We'll add a cheese. And now we'll go into our tools, script debugger, and we'll take the cheese off. Remove this item. Go to portal row. So it went to the cheese item, took it right off. We must have had something messed up because it's working perfectly. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but we'll get it fixed. So it's not that big of a deal. We'll just delete that item, and then we'll go to our kitchen sans copies, and it will delete that item. And now we're both blank. And if we go back to our sandwich board, everything is blank. We'll do white bread, chicken, and cheese. And it's $2.75, and this time we'll get rid of our cheese, remove the item, and so there it is. Hopefully, maybe it's not committing the record. Maybe that's what our problem is we're not committing that record once we get done with it. So we have white bread and cheese, white bread and chicken, white bread and chicken. So it did do it that time. It must have been some weird glitch. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's how you fix it. That's how you make it work. So we now have the ability to, when we're in our sandwich board, we now have the ability to remove these products as we want to, as because we're the people doing it. Now remember, if you want it to be bigger, all you have to do is click on it, edit layout, you click on this, and then this lower button, you'd have to move it. So if you want, you can take your canceled and your finished and you can move them somewhere else. I'm gonna just move them right here for now. But if you click on this and you move it slightly, see how much it moves like crazy? So everything moves like crazy. We're just going to put it down like this. This gives you the ability to actually make these larger. So instead of 12, you can do an 18, although I don't think that's going to actually work. I think it's going to have to be 14. There we go. I think that's center. Hopefully it's center. Let me see. Shift. All right. I just want to make sure. So we're going to start at the bottom. I'm going to use my directional keys, get it right dead smack in the center. Make this. And so the cool thing is we can actually make this just a little bit bigger now. Pretty cool. And you can change the fonts. There's so much things you can do, but I just wanted to show you guys real quick how to do a few things. So this one will say finished. This one will say cancel. You can change the size of your menus or the size of these pieces. You can add pictures, as you guys have seen in here. So if we exit the layout, we now have white bread and chicken breast, and it's a little bit bigger of a print, which would probably work well for your customers, and you can make it even larger if you want to, but do keep an eye on how big you make it, because if you go too big, the scrolling will just get insane. The reason why we did the kitchen one the way that we did was because we wanted to people to be able to read it at a distance. Kitchen personnel are not going to have it right in front of their face, much like this. So this works out well for us, but we currently have $2. We can add, let's add our cheese back. And so our cheese has come back, but for some odd reason we have lost our money. I guess you have to touch it somewhere on the screen to get the money thingy to just happen right away. And notice also that we can now see this number, which is kind of weird. We could not see it before, but we can now. So I'm not really sure what it is. I know it's the portal row, but I just don't know what it is, why it's there. But exit the layout. So this one actually has a portal row number, but none of the rest of them do. That's kind of odd. All right, guys. Well, anyway, I appreciate you guys watching me. You guys are amazing. Just do it exactly as I did it, and you will see that it works, because it does work. And we will see you guys on the next video. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Go to layout. Subscribe.